Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Puckin' Business with your host, Jeffrey Krentzman.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks, coming to you, as always, from the beautiful studios of Undefeated Media here in Bergen County, New Jersey. This is the Mind Your Puckin' Business podcast, brought to you, of course, by our good friends at the Bamboozle Project.
Yes, sir.
Who we will get into in a minute, because I did see some MYPB gear out and about randomly on Friday. I was actually pretty happy to see that. This is episode 64 on the Spanish dial. For those following on the SAP feature, Sesenta y Cuatro. I am speaking so fluently now, I don't even know who I am anymore. You can send your questions at any time, as always, to mypbshow@gmail.com. And today, because the Rangers, they're kind of in this middle of a 2-week break, we are taking viewer questions that were sent in a minute. We will get to it.
Yes.
And you can listen to us answer your questions, and some of them are good, and some of them are a little bit weird. I'm going to be honest with you. You can listen to our answers to the questions either on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or Facebook. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a great plan.
I want to say, really right off the dot, that it was a very good thing that the cameras were not rolling here 2 or 3 minutes ago before we went live, because
what was happening?
we won't bring it up. But I'm just like, we have fun in the studio, and we have the ability, which I don't know if it's good or not, that we can like turn it off and get right into this, because it's like we're totally being ridiculous, and then all of a sudden the music plays, and here we are.
Well, not all the cameras are off.
Not all the cameras are off. That is true. That is true. So
one day you might see that in an Instagram story somewhere.
It might be an MYPB outtake at some point. If you follow the show on Instagram, I could see that happening. So, are you ready for Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think we're in store for a great game. I do believe so.
Well, that is good. What do you do for the Super Bowl?
So, not trying to brag.
Okay. I'm already jealous. Go ahead.
All right. So, my TV I've had since like 2013, 2014 broke. And it was not a bad size. About that size, about like a 60-inch or 50-inch TV. Nothing bad. But it was a 1080 TV. Everything now is in 4K, right? And, I'm a video guy. I want to see the nice resolution, right? So that TV broke. And, I recently got married, and, we got some wedding gifts or whatever. So we used some of that wedding money to get a new TV.
So considering I gave you a wedding gift and I gave you money,
you bought me a new TV.
I'm part of
okay. That was part of it. But this thing is crazy. 77-inch.
Wow.
OLED. Nuts.
There you go.
Nuts. That's what I'll be watching. It's beautiful. Oh,
now, do you or the wife cook, or do you order out?
It's probably a little bit of both. We're actually debating. I'm trying to talk her into having this big Super Bowl party. So you'll get an invite, definitely. Brian as well, Connor, Rachel, everyone here. We'll definitely get an invite. But I'm trying to talk her into having a big party. We'll order pizza and wings, but she'll probably make like pigs in blanket.
Well,
yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Football food.
How about you? What do you got going on? Besides, if you come to my place. If you don't come to my place, what do you got going on?
So normally we Jess and I do a thing with the kids where we do it twice a year. We do New Year's Eve and Super Bowl Sunday, where we do a feast. So the kids call it a feast, and they pick the menu, and they pick they'll pick 9 random things that I need to cook, which is fun because they like it. Although I do think this year we're going to go to a friend's house, which when my kids find out where they are going to go, they will not want the feast anymore. They will be, it'll be like, one of those things where you do things with your kids when they're little, then they grow out of it. Once we let loose and they see that they can go to their friends' houses for Super Bowl and not have, mom and dad just cook them a steak or whatever, we're never probably doing that.
All bets are off.
So we're probably going to a friend's house. But leading up to the game, obviously this week we got media day today. We're taping the show here on Tuesday the 8th, so media day today, and I think tomorrow. I think the Bengals, actually, I read somewhere, were coming in a day or two later than normal, which would make sense because with COVID, I feel like the little less exposure you can possibly have this week, the better. Like, you wouldn't want Joe Burrow or Matt Stafford or Cooper Kupp or any of these guys to be testing positive, because then all of a sudden our game is brutal on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to postpone it. You're just going to lose those players. That would stink.
You're going to lose the players.
But I would like, some smack talk. I think Joe Burrow going out there doing some interview smack talking would be pretty entertaining.
That is cool. So, I was thinking yesterday that with the Super Bowl, you get so excited every year. it's a national holiday that's not a national holiday, right? It's not a holiday on the calendar, but it
Yes.
really is, because the world stops. Whether you
Yeah.
like football or not, even if you're someone who doesn't like football, you watch the Super Bowl, or you
Yeah.
attend a party and you eat junk food, and
Yeah.
that's it. But whether you're a fan of a team, which we are,
Yeah.
whether you're a gambler of the sport, which we are,
are.
whether you're a fantasy player of the sport, which we are,
Which we are.
I think Super Bowl Sunday in the end is depressing, because you leave Super Bowl, or the Monday morning it hits you after, you realize there's no football for 6 months.
Yeah. And you're hungover.
And if you choose to drink anything other than water or iced tea, yes, you're hungover. So to me, we're now going to shift, and obviously the content of this show is going to shift because we're going to lose football. But it's it's a little bit depressing to lose. Now, going forward, let's look at the landscape. We tape this show in the New York area, as I say in the beginning of the show, every day, Bergen County, New Jersey. And I've said that carefully, Bergen County, for those listening, and they know why. So here you have the Devils, the Devils, who really are, the team in New Jersey, have been brutal. I mean, they're unwatchable.
Yeah.
The Islanders are not doing well either. The Knicks are a train wreck, and I'm a season ticket holder, so I could go on about a 30-minute rant on the Knicks, but I'm going to not do that, because we want to keep you listening to the show. The Brooklyn Nets are having their issues. Baseball is currently, and baseball we never talk about here, but baseball is currently in a lockout situation. Who knows if the season's going to start on time?
Interesting.
So you don't have a lot, except there's one team, Dougie Sticks, around here. Can you name it? That's playing well and is in the middle of their season.
I'm going to assume you're talking about the Rangers.
That is correct. So we are putting the onus and the pressure on the Rangers to carry the New York area, because once we lose the Super Bowl, there's not going to be a lot going on.
True.
To really carry us. And
Very
with baseball, we used to say, and there are people that still say this, but when my wife and I, we had Yankee tickets and we were all into that, and we had time in our life for 162 games a season, you would end the Super Bowl and you would say, you know what, later this week or later next week are pitchers and catchers in Florida. And it's a sign that the winter is over. Like when I lived in Boston, there would be news coverage every February when the trucks left Fenway Park with the Red Sox equipment headed for Fort Myers, Florida. Nice. That was like a sign, and someone over here is nodding, I can see. There was a sign that winter was coming to an end. There was greener pastures. Leaving. Right. There was hope on the horizon.
Yes.
Now, with the MLB lockout, who knows what's going on?
Yeah.
So let's hope the New York Rangers can carry the New York area through the next couple months when there's not a lot of sports going on, or the sports that are going on are not doing well. So Super Bowl preview. Somebody here, I don't know who, doesn't matter who, put up a nice little Instagram thing yesterday.
Oh, B-Rock, yes.
B-Rock, about a Super Bowl preview. So we changed the content of the show a little bit based on
that. Messed you up?
based on it.
Threw you a curveball?
Based on it. We were going to talk about it, but I went through it a little bit more. So one of the things that I have been saying for the last couple of weeks, and I said this in particular 2 weeks ago when the Bengals were about to go into Tennessee as the 4 seed playing the top seed. And I said, you can roll the tape back, that if I were the Tennessee Titans, or I was a fan of the Tennessee Titans, I would be concerned with this matchup. And the reason being is because the Bengals just play loose and they don't care. They're just they just take chances. They're young. They don't care. And that is dangerous. It's dangerous both ways, right? You can take a chance and screw yourself, or you just play so loose and you take chances. Like I think back to the New Orleans Saints onside kick right after halftime versus the Colts that basically won them that game. You're just playing loose, and all of a sudden next thing you know, the other team's in trouble. So the Bengals will definitely keep that mentality going on. Where is the pressure in this game? Okay, so LA, the Rams are technically home. It's a home game, right? It's in SoFi Stadium out there, which is awesome stadium. I don't know if you've ever seen it. But I don't really look at it as a home field advantage, because remember, with the Super Bowl, season ticket holders do not get season tickets. It's all corporate. It's all bought up by corporations and scalpers. So I'm not sure that the LA home advantage is a real thing. However, I'm going to say the pressure's on LA for a couple different reasons. Matt Stafford certainly has a lot less chances going forward in his career to get back to this game than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's in his second year. Matt Stafford is playing forever. On a totally random note, I don't know why I'm throwing this out there on Matt Stafford. My wife and I used to live for 8 years in a condo on Stafford Street, was the name of the street, actually in the town, one town over from here. And I used to actually draft Matt Stafford because I lived on Stafford Street. but that seems to me like it was like 50 years ago, and yet the guy is still playing. So how many
Yeah.
chances can Matt Stafford still have left? Probably not much. Now, Sean McVay, the young, great coach of the Los Angeles Rams, if you remember, he's been there already. They lost to the Patriots a couple of years. I'm sure B-Rock remembers that game very well. So there's probably some pressure on Sean McVay compared to Zach Taylor, the coach of Cincinnati. So the pressure here is more on LA for sure. Can the Bengals defense? Now, here's where I'm going to get concerned. So that would be some things that maybe you think you lean towards Cincinnati because the pressure is on LA. Can the Bengals defense, which is, I would say, middle of the road, there's far better defenses in the NFL. There's far worse too. Can they stop Cooper Kupp, number one wide receiver of the season, who's all over the place? I'm not sure about that. But the other thing that the Bengals need to stop is because the Bengals are an offensive team, right? They've got to find a way to stop Aaron Donald and Von Miller.
Von Miller, yes.
And that worries me as well. The other thing is the Rams defense has been pretty good for the most part at taking away the run game of the opposing team. Cincinnati does rely on the run game. And I know this because I had Joe Mixon as my fantasy running back, and he did have a killer year. But if the Rams can stop the run, which they've been doing, and they completely, negate Joe Mixon, then all of a sudden the offense for the Bengals is really one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So I would think that part of the mindset, and I haven't read this anywhere, but it's just a guess, with that if I am the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati, you need to establish the run with Joe Mixon early, because if he's not involved in the game and involved in the offense, Joe Burrow having to do it all his own against the defense that has some pretty talented guys, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You definitely you don't want to be one-dimensional. You want to have various plays and different looks. But I would not disagree with you on who get the pressure, but I think most of the pressure in this game is on the Bengals defense. So we know that Joe Burrow is a good player. We know the Rams offense is high powered. We know the Rams defense is also high powered. A lot of the pressure is can the Bengals defense keep up with that game?
So what the Bengals will have to do, and I agree with you, is go back to the question I asked a couple minutes ago: is can they stop Cooper Kupp? Because the other thing with that offense,
don't forget about Odell Beckham.
That's exactly where I was going. Is you can stop Cooper Kupp, but you've got to stop him in a way that you're not opening up things for Odell, because he can kill you equally too.
Yeah.
So I and I said this last week, the Bengals, I've been on their getting points forever now, it seems like. And I even had them in the first week of the playoffs -5.5, and they covered. I love the Bengals with the points here. I don't know that I love them to win the game, but I love them at +4.5. I read this morning that I guess initially when the spread came out for the first week, most people were on par with me. They were put in the Bengals, but it seems to have evened out a little bit. I think if you look at a team on paper, which doesn't, you're not rewarding a Super Bowl championship based on what you're seeing on paper. But if you're looking here at paper, take it, other than Joe Burrow having the ridiculous run he's on, the Rams are the better team. I mean, there is a reason why they're favored. 4.5 may be a little much for me, but
they gave up a lot of picks. They brought in a lot of talent. So you wouldn't be surprised that the Rams won. The Bengals are on fire. Like I said, that weak point Bengals defense, we don't don't know much about them. Whereas we got some all-stars on both sides of the field in the Rams.
Yeah, it will be very interesting here to see what happens. Now, in previous years, recently, the games have not really been that close. Last year, Tampa and Kansas City wasn't that close. The year before, Kansas City, San Francisco, I don't believe was that close, if I remember correctly. I think the year before was the Patriots and
Falcons.
No, the Patriots and the Rams when they were there. And if I remember, that game was just boring. It wasn't a lot of points. So hopefully you get a more exciting game or something close. I don't think this is a blowout either way. But I at least I think hopefully we'll get a good game out of it.
I hope it's exciting like the other games have been. Going to your last point, you were saying that, it's been unprecedented, the home teams at the Super Bowl. Actually, Roger Goodell. Right, Roger Goodell is the GM, right? So he actually they came out. So yes, the commissioner. So they were saying in order to prevent a team from being the home team in the Super Bowl, they decided to do all the Super Bowls now at Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys.
I did see that meme.
But boom.
You are the jokester here, stand-up comedian
Oh,
extraordinaire.
thank you.
So, I would say this. I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna give you my prediction who's gonna win the game, and I'm gonna give you a different prediction with the points. I'm gonna predict that the Rams win the game, but I'm gonna guess that if you're a gambling man, which you are, we all are.
Oh yeah.
I would be taking the Bengals plus 4.5. Because I think you're also covered in the sense that if it's a field goal,
second field goal,
you're also covered there. And how many games recently in the league? It seems like every game in the last month have been within a field goal or close.
Yeah.
So
that's tough.
But I don't know. Like if you're the Bengals, we talked about it last week. Zach Taylor, the coach there in his third year. I mean, he had 2 atrocious years. They were plus 1,800 to win the AFC Championship this year, which obviously in hindsight we wish we all had done. We would be retired by now, living in Aruba or somewhere warm. I give them credit for getting here, but the pressure is more to me on the Rams to win. You're home, even though it's not really home fans. You've been there, you made the trade for Stafford, which was really done specifically to win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's why you make a trade like that. Yeah. And here you are, the pressure's on LA.
Yes. And also I believe the over under is 50 points.
I like the under.
I think it's going to be under 50 points.
Yeah, and it opened, I believe, at
25 is 50 points.
It's a lot of points. Again, the Rams defense is okay. I don't know. My friends, we've talked about them off the air, who live in New York, that bet on my account all the time because it was not legal there, where now it is. For years, every Sunday when I made their football bets, they always take the over. Like, it wouldn't matter if it was over 100. I used to joke with them. I'd be like, would you take that? Take an under once in a while. I don't know why I like the under here, but I just think that the spotlight and the defenses, but we'll see.
All right.
Let's hope that next week when we do a recap, when I'm told that that's what we're doing, on the Instagram feed the day before when we're doing the recap, that we're recapping the game, not just your like pigs in a blanket. Like the game was actually worthy. That we're not reviewing your food at your Super Bowl party.
I don't mind losing my bets as long as the game was good.
Now, so what will you be betting? Do you do the props, the Super Bowl props?
I'll probably have fun. So like this, thanks to you.
Thanks
to you. I'm addicted. No, but thanks to you. I enjoy it now. I get it now. I understand what I'm doing. I'll probably do like a big bet, not a big bet, but like a moderate sized bet. So I've been betting like 10, 20 bucks, a weekend, like, or like, whatever. But like I probably do like a bigger bet for like the game. I'll probably do a couple prop bets. But just like, I think, who are the Bengals playing? The Chiefs. Like I had everyone thought the Chiefs were going to win. So I had my money on the Chiefs, but I was perfectly fine with the Bengals winning. I wasn't pissed that I lost my money. I was actually, by the end of that game, I was rooting for the Bengals, even though I lost my money. So like, I don't mind losing the money if we have a great, entertaining game.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So yeah, the prop bets, I never won it, but I always used to do like, what color is the Gatorade that's poured on the coach? Now here's what I never understood.
Yes.
How come somebody's making that decision, right? How do I get in touch with the guy who's filling
easy money,
right? I mean, if I knew it was going to be red or purple,
easy money,
or whatever color it is, I could you would.
So I think there's different tubs with different flavors, but still you're on the right track. Now I have noticed like you'll have the green Gatorade bottle, but like they have like this insulated covering inside of there. It's like see-through. No, but it's like red, the color, like the bottle plastic wrap, if you will. You know how like you have those coolers, they're like saran wrap silver, like they're not hard coolers, they're like soft coolers, like movable, whatever. So like they're like those like insulated Gatorade cups now, but like they're related to what Gatorade's in there. So like there's red, I've seen blue, I've seen orange.
Smart.
So it's green on the outside, but there you could see a tint of like this like saran wrappy color. So if you watch the pregame, you might be able to narrow it down.
Get a little thing. Yeah. So I will say one bet. Late Night Louie, who was on the show a couple of months ago, who we love. I was trying to get him on this week. It didn't work out timing wise. He texted me. The only thing he said is he loves the over in the length of the national anthem. So whatever if you're looking for prop bets, Late Night Louie says take the over on the national anthem.
Do we know who's singing it?
We don't. They've actually hyped up this halftime show a lot.
Oh yeah,
with Snoop Dogg and whatnot.
yeah.
I don't know. Why don't you look up real quick who's singing that? But there are so many prop bets. I mean, look, even if you are a casualist of all sports fans, that you can find some prop bets out there. You can even bet on, not that your odds are good, heads or tails, even though you would think it's 50-50.
Mickey Guyton. Country singer Mickey Guyton.
No clue. Sounds good.
I think he might keep it. I think he might be under.
That's
Guys seem to like get through it where like the girls really let those things, they belt out those long notes.
Do we know? I mean, we could look real quick. I could find on my phone on DraftKings because it's usually pretty easy to sift through.
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to find what the over-under is on the national anthem. Novelty props. Let's see. Well, a color. Here you go. Color of Gatorade. Vegas is telling you that the odds are that it is going to be orange is the favorite at plus 200, followed by no color, meaning that there's no Gatorade poured on a coach, followed by blue. Then it goes to clear. Clear has the same odds as yellow and green, and then red and pink are plus 600. And then if you want to hit the long shot, plus 1,000 says that the color of the Gatorade is going to be purple.
Wow.
Right? That is so. I'll have to look for Late Night Louie on the national anthem, but
you also want to search YouTube to see if Mickey Guyton has sung the national anthem elsewhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, right. You could be doing some research here. I like it.
You like that?
I like that. So we'll tune in next week. I'm going with the Rams to win. I'm going with the Bengals with the points, which means
here it is.
Sorry, look at you.
I found it.
Look at you. It's a minute. Wow, there you go.
The Star Spangled Banner, right? That's the national.
Mickey Guyton is a girl.
Yeah,
it looks like it. Wow, see, I didn't even, but that changes.
Should I put this on the screen?
Well, you can put it up.
Right, we'll put it up.
Yeah, we can put it up. So you have found. Now, again, I don't know what the over/under is on the national anthem. I'll have to find out.
So it's probably some kind of rendition of this.
So she sung. Why don't you just kill the audio for a second on it? So if you know what the over-under is, this is Mickey Guyton singing the Star Spangled Banner in 2015. She sung it in a minute and 34 seconds.
Well, yeah, around there because, hit record,
right.
Hit end. So probably.
So if you saw, here's the thing. If you saw the over-under was 230, you're hitting the under.
Yeah.
If you're seeing it's like, and you have to do it patiently at the Super Bowl. You can't rush through it, right? So to me, if the over-under is anything 145, 150 or less, I'm hitting the over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's going for it.
She's good. I mean, she's good. I never heard of her.
She doesn't seem like she's rushing it.
No. I have no idea who this woman is. I thought it was a guy when you said it was Mickey Guyton.
I thought so, too.
You learn something new every day at Mind Your Fucking Business. So tune in, enjoy the Super Bowl. We will try to keep...
Ooh, she didn't belt out that last note.
He's taking notes.
She kept that part short.
Okay, good to know.
Good to know.
So we'll move on to Super Bowl. We'll recap it next week, and then we'll shift away from the sports as we all go into lack of football depression for 6 months. So the New York Rangers, they played one game last week. I want to complain about something. Tuesday night was their last game before this break that they were on because of the original Olympic schedule and now COVID makeups and whatnot. So 7:00 comes on. They're playing the Florida Panthers, and I'm psyched because it's the last game that's on, and we were home last Tuesday night. I can't find the game. I go to MSG, it's not on. I go to ESPN, it's not on. I go to TNT, which has NHL rights, it's not on. Can't find the game anywhere. The NHL, when they did this ESPN package, they now have some games that are exclusively on ESPN Plus, which means I had to pay like $70 to stream it through my phone.
You did the triple play package: Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. Like $8.
Do I have that? I have that.
I'm just kidding. Whatever you got for $70, you cancel that.
Well, I didn't get it.
Don't we have a special channel? The MSG network.
They won't show the local game. This is the problem. They don't show the local games when it's on ESPN Plus. You're right. Normally,
you have a whole channel dedicated to this.
Yes, I know. Except in this instance, which was last Tuesday.
That's nuts.
So I had to go back and watch clips of the game. I was following it on my phone, the score.
Yeah.
Plus, I got a million people texting me like, "Oh, did you see that play by Kreider?" I'm like, "No, I don't get the game. I'm sitting here." But I they played well and they won. They beat a very good Florida team again. Igor Shesterkin was very good. So I decided yesterday.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it last week, but I officially decided yesterday.
Yeah.
We were going to open up some of our Instagram pages for people to submit questions for us to answer on the Rangers because we have some time and they had a break. So I'm just telling you, we got flooded with questions.
Nice. Are we going to answer some?
We're going to answer some right now.
Nice.
Yes, we're going to.
Before you go, just so you know, when you go home today, Disney Plus bundle, Disney Plus, Hulu,
then I have
and
my
ESPN Plus.
Okay, good to know.
Make sure you have the bundle. Like you have to make sure you sign up with the all three because you could be paying the same price and only get one.
I will check. We have that stuff, I believe. I will look into it. But I also need to look into it and see if the Rangers are on ESPN Plus again. Because if they're not, I don't need it. I don't care about watching Anaheim and Dallas on ESPN Plus in March at 10:30 at night on Tuesday. So we opened up some questions, and I'm gonna. So first off, I want to say this. Thank you for sending in your questions. No, not bad. I appreciate it. I'm gonna take. There were some questions that I looked at, and I'm like, wow, this is really a question, and it was. So we're gonna take them, even though it just seems odd to me that this would be a real question.
All right.
But it is a real question because I've seen it written about in other places. I just find it a weird topic. So we're going to start with that one right away. And that is, B-Rock, you ready for this on the side? Do you think the Rangers will trade Alexis Lafreniere? There was a report last week.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember. I can't tell you the source because I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
There was a report, and I saw it in a couple places, that the Vancouver Canucks and there was another team, I want to say it was Ottawa, had inquired about with the Rangers and called about the availability of Alexis Lafreniere.
I feel like you get this question a lot.
Well, here's the thing with this, okay? It's a fair question.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm including it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
First off, it's not going to happen. So we can answer that question. It's not, no, they're not going to trade Alexis Lafreniere.
All right.
And I had a buddy of mine who knows more about the Rangers than I think anyone I know, who reminded me before we went live when I was texting him about the questions we were going to answer. He said, remind them that he leads the team on 5-on-5 goals, which is a great point because for a team that struggles to score 5-on-5, it seems, and people complain about the lack of scoring on a 5-on-5, why would you then in turn trade your number one 5-on-5 scorer, who is also playing on the third line? He's not even on the top line. So here's where this comes down to me with Alexis Lafreniere. Yeah. They're not going to trade him. Like we're not. I don't even need to get into why, but I will say this about Alexis Lafreniere. He is playing. He's a left wing on this team. Chris Kreider, obviously having the year that he's having, leading the NHL in goals, going into the All-Star break, is playing your first line left wing. He's not going to go anywhere. Your second line left wing is Artemi Panarin. He's not going to go anywhere. Artemi Panarin would be a number one left wing on really any team, other team, except that we have the number one goal scorer in the NHL. So as long as Lafreniere is going to play the third line, play left wing, he's going to be on the third line. So I posed the question to some people last week, why can't we move him or try to move him to the right wing? Because then he can move up and play maybe first line right wing or second line right wing. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like that's in the cards. My other thought was maybe the Rangers have plans. Well, Mika Zibanejad, is here for a long time. He's your number one center for the time being. That's not going to change. But it's starting to become increasingly, I wouldn't say obvious, but a concern that Ryan Strome may not be re-signed in the offseason. So if Ryan Strome is not re-signed in the offseason, can Alexis Lafreniere go to the second line center next year and play there with Panarin and someone on the right? It's possible.
Is a factor what hand stick is he? Is he lefty or righty?
He's a lefty. But
so you normally would want him on the right side, right?
No,
so
it's totally he would normally play the left, but he could play the center. But there have been plenty of players that have been a right-handed job playing left wing through the years, and vice versa. I don't get it. I don't think that's a major determining factor, but they do need to figure something out with him because he's not. Look, next year Kreider and Panarin are going to be on this team. So if Lafreniere is going to stay with the left wing, he's going to be the third line again. And he's not going to have the opportunity to put up points as you would playing with top-line talent.
Yeah.
So just a thought. But they will not go out and trade Alexis Lafreniere to the point where if you wanted to get a jersey and you were afraid of getting a jersey of a player and say, yeah, I don't like to get a jersey because they get traded and then the jersey is useless, like I have with plenty of people, you would be safe to get an Alexis Lafreniere jersey. He was not going anywhere. He will be here for a long time. So
Nice.
he's not getting traded. B-Rock, don't get excited over there for your Devils. So the other popular question that we got was, as we approach the trade deadline in about 4 weeks, what will the Rangers be doing, and what are they going to try, and who are they specifically going to try and target? So here's where I disagree with some people. And I'm going to go back to the person that I mentioned texting with before, that I was texting with about this last night. The Rangers, the term that I have used on this show for the past year and a half, since you and I met one day in the back alley in Spanish Harlem and said we're going to do a podcast together at Undefeated Media.
Absolutely.
I have used this term, and I use quotes, window of opportunity.
Yes.
That the Rangers are young, and their window of opportunity to win a cup is probably the next 5 to 7, 5 to 8 years. I do not want them to be in a position right now. Now, they've had a great year, right? We all agree with that. But I do not want to be in a position where I'm sacrificing how high up my window is going to be up for to try and make a run for it this year. Yes, the Rangers are going to probably make the playoffs. We'll have a lot here to talk about in May or June. I'm sure you are so excited about it, Dougie Sticks, that you'll be at the playoff games with me. But
you're taking me? Nice.
If you wanted to go, we could work something out. But I do not agree with them giving up something to get a rental to make a run this year when what you're giving up is going to hurt that long-term window of opportunity. Chris Drury, and I said this as well, and I've said this for a while here, he has the reputation, and not only does he have the reputation when he came into the GM job, but he's also now done this in his first, 8 months as well. He's very methodical. He thinks things through. He does not make knee-jerk reactions. If he's going to use that mindset, which I have no reason to think that he's not, because that's the only mindset he has ever used, then he's going to probably agree with me and say, I'm not going to go out and make a run this year, give away a piece that's going to then in turn lessen my window of opportunity long-term. Now, the Rangers, though, do have a lot of cap room. They have $30 million, I believe, in cap room. And they also do have plenty of assets that can be given up. Like if you told me right now, well, the Rangers were thinking of trading Libor Hayek, okay, I wouldn't be that upset about it. If you told me they were thinking of trading Zach Jones, I wouldn't be that upset about it. There's a lot of things that they can do. They also have plenty of draft picks they can move. The other thing, and this was another question we got a lot yesterday and this morning, came in another question this morning, was what the heck is going on with Vitaly Kravtsov? Just we don't hear about him anymore. If to me, the Rangers are going to make a decision in the offseason. If there is no future with him here on Broadway and the bridges are burned, he's getting traded, because the longer he's not traded and he's possession of the Rangers playing in the KHL, his value is just going to go down. I mean, it's not going to go up. So Chris Drury, I would think, realizes this and knows if you're going to get him, you're going to get max value by moving him sooner than later. So the Rangers, to make a trade, to tie this all together for you.
Yes.
In conclusion, right? Yeah. They do have pieces, some of those young defensemen I just mentioned, plus Kravtsov, that they could technically trade. I just don't want them to get a rental for them. I would like to see it be more of a long-term thing. Now, maybe you trade for a rental and you have a contract extension already in place. Then it makes more sense. But I don't want to be trading for someone that's going to play here for 2 months in the playoffs, hopefully 2 months, not 2 weeks, right? And then be a free agent and walk at the end of the season. That's not helpful right now. Let's remember the window of opportunity.
Yeah, and you don't want them to get ahead of themselves and feel too cocky and confident or complacent. You want them to kind of build and develop this year and have a chip on their shoulder and continue, not be like, oh, yeah, we're good already.
Right.
We didn't even expect them to be that good this year.
This was on my screen, and you and I don't share, pre-show notes before the show. We do freestyle rap apparently here in the studio. As I wrote on here, was the first half that no one saw coming. Dan Rosen, when he was on in October, we said, look, the expectation of this team is they should make the playoffs. Now, look, the reality is they have a chance to maybe even win the President's Trophy. I don't think they will, but they're beyond the point now where making the playoffs. If for some reason in the next 2.5 months they went on a colossal slide and didn't make the playoffs, it would be a massive disappointment because of how well they played.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We will see. Another question given in, which I like this question when I saw this, is would it be safe to say that Gerard Gallant is a lock for the Jack Adams Award, which goes to Coach of the Year? It's not safe to say he's going to win the Coach of the Year. There's other coaches that are out there having good years, but he is definitely in consideration. I believe I saw about a month ago that he was for, like, Vegas has odds, who's going to win the Coach of the Year. I think Gallant was 4th on that list. And if you think about that, there's 32 teams. That's a pretty good compliment, right? Even if you want the guy to win, and he does deserve to win, but there's other coaches as well. Brindamore in Carolina, the Florida coach who came in a month is Joel Quinville Mess back in October when he had to resign. There's other coaches out there that have done equally well, but Gallant certainly has had a very good year. I saved last question. I didn't take them all, but I saved this one to be the last question. Is what is your prediction? Where do they finish? And then how do they do in the playoffs? Which is a brutal question to answer because I have no idea, right? I mean, we can all guess. So as I said, the Rangers are in a position they should make the playoffs. Anything less than that at this point would be a complete disappointment because of how high up in the standings. And also in their division, you have teams like the Flyers, the Devils, and the Islanders who are just atrocious, right? So you know that 3 are going to get in. And I don't mean that negatively, B-Rock, but he would agree with me sitting over there in the corner. So they will make the playoffs.
Yes.
I do not think they will win the division. I think they're going to finish 2nd or 3rd in the Metro. I think Carolina will win the division. And I think the Rangers will have a chance to get out of the first round because the way it would look right now is it would either be against Washington or Pittsburgh would be that. Now, the Rangers have only played the Caps once on opening night, and they have 4 meetings with the Penguins over the season. None have happened yet. So I can't tell you how they match up. But I will say this. If Igor Shesterkin plays the way that he's capable of playing, they would have the opportunity to get out of the first round. I would then hate the matchup with Carolina. I saw them play Carolina a couple weeks ago, and I was scared. I mean, I would not want to play Carolina. So you want my halfway point prediction, like I have to predict. They'll make the playoffs. They'll be the 2 or the 3. They're going to play Washington or Pittsburgh in the round 1. They can win that series. They probably should win the series versus those 2 teams, I would say.
Yeah.
But then they would lose to Carolina.
Okay, so if they lose to Carolina, I don't know if you can even answer this question. If they lose to Carolina, would that put them in like 5th place? Kind of.
Well, no, they'd be eliminated. They would maybe finish.
No,
8th
but like
in the league.
they wouldn't be in the Stanley Cup. They wouldn't be in the Final Four. They would be.
We have one goal. If it's not winning the cup, I don't want.
I'm just saying, like approximately, what place would you?
Would they be in? So
if you lost in the Final Four, you'd kind of in 3rd place.
You'd be between 4 and 8, which is not bad.
Not bad.
Look, for a team.
I think we're going to make the playoffs. Yeah,
that we weren't sure going to make the playoffs. You would take it, but the Carolina matchup would scare me. That team is so underrated. When you watch how they play a speed game. They forecheck you to death. The Rangers, when they played a couple weeks ago, couldn't even get the puck out of their own for half the part of the second period. So that would be my concern. So shifting gears, I want to throw a little thing out to our sponsor, the Bamboozle Project. Last week, in the midst of some winter weather up here, I had to go pick up the kids in like a last minute shuffle because schedules were weird, and I went to go pick up the kids, and someone was standing there in the MYPB hat.
Nice
at pickup. So I will put up there the website. You can get your MYPB gear at thebamboozleproject.com. That is all one word. Yes. And if you mention the promo code, which we'll pull across the screen, well, it's even before I'm even done, 25% off MYPB. Now, some feedback on it from what I've heard from people.
Yeah.
It ships really quick. They produce this really quick.
Yeah.
And the promo code works, and it really is 25% off.
Yeah.
If you got in your junk mail today, because we all get more junk mail than we all need these days, if you got something with a 25% off promo code, that's pretty valuable. We're not saying it's not saying 5% off. It's not saying free shipping on an order over $300. Yeah. It's legit 25% off.
We want to make sure the listeners get swag, man.
Yeah. So you get your swag. And there are some new shirts.
Oh, yeah.
There are some new shirts up there. I saw there are some new hats. And the guy who was in the MYPB white shirt, I think, is one of the white shirts. I don't know if he was wearing it in a gym or what. It's definitely not you and I when we look at the picture. We can tell that it was not me and you sporting the gear.
I got an idea.
Yes.
So we could try all this and see what happens. But if you are an artist and would like to design an MYPB shirt, we could do a contest. Send them in to mypbshow@gmail.com, and maybe we'll choose yours for a t-shirt design.
We could do that. We could talk to the people at Bamboozle Project.
Absolutely.
Who've been great to work with. So, and also one last little small business note here. I want to throw out, because we've talked about it here on the show, TS Ma around the corner. If you're in the Bergen County area, and we love Chris, the owner over there. If you're in the Bergen County area and you like Chinese food, I promise you this is not your average Chinese food place. Go to TS Ma. It is Really, really good. They're located in Wyckoff. You can reach them. They also have a location. I've never been to this one, but the one in Montclair,
Yeah,
I'm sure is equally as good.
both amazing,
So,
delicious.
yes. So you have yourself a wonderful Super Bowl.
You too.
May your pigs in a blanket and pizza that you order
Yes.
be good on your new
You as
TV
well.
that I helped pay for.
Yeah. Thank you for your wedding gift. Yes.
I-
All our wedding gifts went to that was our big because we had to get a TV.
So let me get this straight as a
Yeah.
recap today.
Yeah. Yes.
I contributed to the TV that
Yes.
is being used for the Super Bowl.
Best thing I ever bought.
And then I also am the one that has taught you how to gamble. You said before,
Yeah.
So you know how to,
which
gamble.
also helped for the TV. You know, if you listen to the MYPB show, you're in the money. You made money.
You are. And again, the MYPB pick for the Super Bowl is Bengals plus 4.5 as well. But yeah. So
Yes,
that's
thank you for all of that.
You're welcome. It's the least I could do for you, Dougie Sticks. B-Rock, do you have a Super Bowl prediction? Bengals. Yeah, he's. You know what? You are of the age where, like, you know, Joe Burrow is probably similar to you, and the swag is cool and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like the younger generation, like
Yeah.
the kids in their 20s, kids,
Yeah.
people in their 20s, they're gonna get on board the Joe.
Who was that for us? Who came in with swag?
Tom Brady, unfortunately.
He
didn't have
come
the
in
swag,
with
but
he was like on
Vic?
the bench.
Vic maybe
Michael Vick came in with
with
some
swag, and then he had some
Yeah.
dog issues. If I remember correctly, he had some dog issues. Who else was really
Yeah,
though?
He came in with swag.
Yeah,
I just came in and just started going to town.
Man, I don't.
The Mannings,
When we were in our yeah, but they didn't have
they
swag.
didn't have swag.
Brett Favre didn't have swag. I mean, he was just he was
Aaron Rodgers was on the bench.
right. They didn't. You know
He
what?
Came in and just swagged it up.
But you know
Swag-oo.
what? Think about here about this. Think about who the Patriots beat in those years.
Yeah.
They beat the Carolina Panthers, who had Jake Delhomme. That dude had no swag. Donovan McNabb didn't have swag. You know, I'm not really sure going back to quarterbacks back then who really Trent Green in Kansas City couldn't even move.
Mhm.
Chad Pennington and the Jets didn't have swag, right? I mean,
Yeah, who had swag?
maybe Drew Brees to an extent.
Cam Newton.
did. Drew Brees did.
So here's some
RG3, no.
he came in with swag, but he just didn't pan
He
out.
was terrible.
Dan Marino,
Yeah, but Dan Marino wasn't our time, dude. How old do you
Russell
think we were?
Wilson, maybe.
Yeah, but he didn't come in with swag.
Baker Mayfield had too much swag,
Swag,
but not enough
right,
play,
right.
not enough stats to
Baker-
back up
right.
the swag.
Baker Mayfield had too much swag and not enough talent. Ben Roethlisberger, you could argue, I guess.
Yeah, but not enough swag.
Not enough swag, but he had the talent. He had some swag, not enough talent.
Dak too. Dak swag, but not enough
Not
stats.
enough talent. Yeah, not enough consistency.
Yeah.
So really, you know, like Joe Burrow, if I'm B-Rock and I'm of these, like, you know, younger generation sport fans, that's who I would support.
I can get behind his swag.
Yeah, I can get behind him. But thanks for tuning in. We will be back with you next week. As always, we thank the Bamboozle Project. You can send your questions anytime to mypbshow@gmail.com. If there are any more Ranger ones that I didn't get to today, and I know I didn't get to them all, we will do some more questions next week, as we'll still be in the middle of this 2-week break, so not a lot going on in Ranger country. Dougie Sticks, have a wonderful Super Bowl.
You too.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.